This story is a lot, so just warning, guys, this is going to be a heavy topic. Gypsy Rose Blanchard was just released from prison a couple of weeks ago for the murder of her mother. She was charged with second-degree murder after asking her boyfriend to kill her mom. A lot of you probably already know about this story. It has been in the news for a long time. Even before this murder happened, Gypsy and her mother were getting a lot of media attention because of all the various medical conditions that she had, but didn't actually have. Sadly, Gypsy was a victim of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. It is a mental illness. It is a form of child abuse. The caretaker of a child, most often a mother, either makes up fake symptoms or causes real symptoms to make it look like the child is sick. Her mother convinced her she had cancer, seizures, sleep apnea, muscular dystrophy, chromosomal disorders. She was put into a wheelchair that she didn't need because she could walk the entire time. And she was totally healthy. Her mother even pulled her out of school when she was only in second grade so she could just be a full-time caretaker, keep her at home all the time, monitor who she was spending her time with, even preventing her from having a relationship with her father, who she was still cashing the child support checks from every month. This girl was completely controlled by her mother. And the point of this video, what I really want to focus on, is what has happened since her release from prison. So she got second-degree murder, which meant she served 8 years and then got the last 2 right now that she's currently serving on parole. But she has just been getting all kinds of social media attention. Like, she has now turned into an influencer. And what I would like to really focus on in this video is the strange parasocial relationships that people have formed with her. Like, right when she got released, everyone was like, yes, queen, I stan you. And they were sending her like all these weird messages and stuff of support, which it's great to support somebody and hope the best for them, especially when they've been through what she's been through, but it just gets really weird. And even weirder now that she's sort of being canceled by a lot of people for not behaving perfectly or necessarily saying the right things after having been released. I'm seeing a lot of people say that they feel bad for her for what she's gone through, and they sort of skip past the what she's gone through part without really fully recognizing how messed up it was. I mean, she was told she was sick and unable to have a normal life until she was in her 20s. And yes, she tried to escape many times from her mom, only to be found and then tied up to a bed for weeks, and sometimes fed. And then she meets this guy, Nick Godejohn, on a Christian dating app who she thinks can save her, and not by teaching her about Jesus Christ. Not that kind of saved. We're gonna get into more of these details later, but she actually asked him to kill her mother, which he did by stabbing her 17 times. He is now serving life in prison, and she's free, posting on Instagram and TikTok and getting millions of followers, and now getting canceled. But before I dive too deep into that, I do want to thank today's sponsor, Adam and Eve. You guys know it. I work with them all the time. Love them. And Valentine's Day is coming up, so if you are looking for a gift to get your significant other, something to spice things up, make the D a little bit more fire, you'll understand that joke later. Check out adamandeve.com. Lots of fun toys for adults. If you want to see me unbox a lot of the cool things they sent me for Valentine's Day, check out the link below. I did an entire unboxing video. If you go to adamandeve.com and use my name, Jaclyn, Jaclyn, as a code at checkout, you can get 50% off any one item and free shipping, which is an amazing deal. And honestly, like, the comments that I read from people about this topic have stressed me out and pissed me off so much. Maybe that'll be helpful. A lot of videos make me angry, but this one is like really tough. I remember the media craziness around all of this when it was happening. It was all over the news. There were different shows on TV that were made about it. I actually could not even watch the act when it came out because I had certain triggering personal life experiences with mothers out there who control their children and essentially lead them down a very dark path. I'll just say that. Now, all of this is happening and all this information is being released as she's in prison. So when she gets out, which was a few weeks ago, everyone was watching, everyone was waiting to see what was going to happen next. Well, like I said, now she's on social media, Instagram, TikTok. She is blowing up everywhere, posting cute little videos like, this is the outfit that I'm wearing today. Getting comments like, slay, baby girl, which I would stay away from using certain words. Getting responses like this, well, she slayed her mom. Not so funny when you really think about it. But a lot of her posts are promoting things that she is personally releasing right now. She has her own ebook, and there's also a Lifetime documentary out there. A lot of people are currently faulting her for doing all of this. They say that she's attention seeking, just like her mother did for her. So many armchair therapists out there. You guys, how much do you charge? Are you free? Fix my life, please. She's promoting this not only on her social media, but everywhere. And she is taking every opportunity for every podcast, interview, everything. And one podcast in particular got her in a lot of trouble. Now, what really pissed a lot of people off and changed people's perspective from yes, slay queen to actually I think you're canceled were the things that she said on this podcast. And I can sort of see I can sort of see why.
You started this conversation, you were referring to other interviews, and that one interviewer just calling you a murderer. Do you feel that way about yourself, or do you feel more that you're a survivor?
I don't associate myself as a murderer. If you think about it, yes, I had a part to play in it.
I mean, yeah, she had a part to play in it and asking that it be done at all. It's essentially like hiring a hitman and then being like, well, I didn't do it though.
I asked Nick for help. And how that conversation started was, he was saying that he would protect me from anyone. I said anyone. He said yes. I said even my mother. He said yes. And then the plan kind of formed from there. But he's the one that did the actual kill, not me.
That's strange. It's a really strange way to phrase it like that. Like, he's the one who did the actual kill. Like, girl, we're not playing a video game. And one thing that really bothered me that I haven't really seen many people comment on is that she said, I asked Nick for help. Like, she did a lot more than just ask him for help.
I asked Nick for help.
She's the one that stole the knife from Walmart that was the murder weapon. She's the one who stole $1,000 from her mom and mailed it to him to get him to travel to her. He even requested duct tape, so she pre-cut segments of duct tape for him to use. There is a video of her walking through the room, filming, showing him the layout of her mom's room and making stabbing motions over the bed to show him this is where you're gonna stab her. So when you take all that into consideration, simply saying, yeah, I just asked him for help, it doesn't really paint a real picture, does it? It's just not telling the whole truth, and that does feel a little manipulative. A lot of people are commenting on that too, saying, well, of course she's manipulative. She learned it from the best, her mother. And to that I say, maybe some degree of that could be true. Like, when you are a victim of abuse, psychological, physical, all the types of abuse for that long, it's going to have an impact on your mental health. I mean, you could do nature and nurture all day, but nurture in this case, for sure, was not healthy. And if you do pick up tactics like learning how to be manipulative in certain senses, that might be a life, a survival tactic for her. It was a life and death situation. Her being alive is sort of a miracle at this point. So when the conversation comes up about her being a murderer like this, I feel like both can be true. I mean, she literally was convicted of second-degree murder. She pled guilty. So she can't just completely drop that label. But personally, what I do feel is more important than that, and even a bigger picture in the story, is that she's a victim. She is a victim of horrific abuse for her entire life, and nobody can sit back in the comments and pass that up so quickly. Say, well, I know she went through a lot, but you can't do that. You can't just wrap it up that quickly. The amount of psychological trauma that she had to have gone through. So I absolutely feel for her. I want the best for her. But I do think she is hurting herself a little bit in the amount of interviews that she's doing. And I mean, you can only be PR trained so well before you slip up and say something. And when a case is this public, you just have to be more careful. Because what she said earlier and what she's about to say do not do her any favors.
I can't kill anyone. That's why he's in trouble to begin with, because he's the one that did it. So when they say I'm a murderer, I don't identify as that.
You don't identify. You did identify as that, though, when you pled guilty to second-degree murder. That was you identifying as a murderer. You pled guilty.
I can't kill anyone.
And saying, I can't kill anyone, that is also a sentence that has come back to bite her. Because she did attempt to kill her mother before when she shot her 10 times with a gun that she did not know at the time was a BB gun. So when she says, I could never kill anyone, I could never hurt anybody, that's just blatantly not true. Also, I just want to briefly comment on the state of mind that you hear about people that are in cults. It doesn't always occur to them to leave, or that it would be so easy to leave. When you have been that deeply brainwashed and that extensively psychologically traumatized throughout your life, it's not so easy to just walk away. There is the part of her that loves her mother. That's her mother. She wants to be close with her mother and have a relationship, but the person who is supposed to love her more than anything in the world is the one doing these things. So it's not only is it a cult that you join where you become attached to the cult leader or whatever and begin to follow what they say, it's she was born into this. She was born into this toxic situation with someone who is, you just truly cannot begin to comprehend how difficult that must be. And it's frustrating to me because I have seen so many comments. I can't sit here and show a billion screenshots. I'd be here all day. But the amount of people that are why didn't she just leave? Why did she, kill her as opposed to just walking away? It's just so easy to sit back and say stuff like that, isn't it?
Let me live my life. Let me reinvent myself. Give me a chance.
Yeah.
Because before I didn't even have that chance to begin with. So let me show you guys who I am as a person.
I want her to have a second chance. I truly do feel bad enough for her and what she went through to genuinely want the best for her at this point. But I will say the glorification of her online does have me feeling a little bit uncomfortable. I feel bad for her and what she went through, but I have a problem with someone getting paid and cashing in for being involved in their mother's death. I mean, it's so tough because like I can simultaneously sort of agree with that, but then also the cashing in part, like she should be allowed to tell her story. I don't know how much I like the whole like, yes, we stan you queen social media influencer aspect of it, but she should be able to come out as a victim of abuse and talk about what she's been through. That can be cathartic for a lot of people, but also really informative for people out there who are going through this. But the cashing in part, let me just say really quick on that. This is someone who had their entire life stripped away from them. I mean, she, from a small child, was told she had all these diseases, was not allowed to socialize, was pulled out of school when she was in second grade, and her mother didn't really educate her further from that. I think what I heard was that she got some homeschooling here and there, but then her mom just sort of gave up. Like, she never got a proper education. She had to like do some studying and get her like GED in prison. So she missed those years of her life as a child when your brain is forming and developing and absorbing new things. Like, she, not only was she not given an education, but she was filled with all these different toxic medications that she didn't need that made her sick. She is not, at this point, getting out of prison as an adult woman, probably able to go out there and work a bunch of different jobs. Like, her opportunities are very limited. But because of all the attention she got while she was in prison, all the social media exposure that gave her, she now has this platform and opportunity to A, make money off of something that she would never be able to make this kind of money anywhere else, that's for sure, and also not her fault. And B, bring awareness to mental health, especially Munchausen's syndrome by proxy. Trust me, this did not have this kind of exposure before Gypsy Rose. Before her trial and all the things involved with it, it did not have this type of attention. And because of her and her situation, people are learning. So I think it is good for her to use this platform that she has to bring awareness. But with that comes a lot of responsibility and a lot of judgment that we'll get into later. If she's free, Nick should be free too and put in the hands of a mental hospital. She manipulated him, and it's not the first person she wanted to manipulate instead of doing it with her own hands. So this is sort of where I get frustrated because people are just making assumptions and saying that she's this manipulative person that sought out Nick because he had mental health issues and she thought she could, twist and turn things and make things happen her way and not get her own hands dirty, which if she didn't want to get in any kind of trouble, that didn't work out. She just spent 8 years in jail. So a lot of people are continuing to believe that narrative, that she sought him out to manipulate him. And I think interviews like the clips I just showed aren't helping her, especially showing like somewhat of a lack of accountability in these clips, because she's taken full accountability and says she's sorry and has regrets and all those things in other places. But in that particular interview, it really does seem like she wasn't accepting it or identifying with it. I will say that the legal system played out in this case the way that it did, and there's nothing that anybody can do to change that. She served the time that was given to her, and Nick is now in prison for life. And what I have seen, and a big reason for that, is because no one thinks she's going to go out there and kill somebody else again. Like, she went through something pretty traumatic, and not that it justifies it, but whereas Nick, I genuinely am terrified by the things that I've learned about him, the kind of person that he is. He, people say he had autism, which is annoying to me because I know tons of autistic people. It is a vast spectrum, mind you, but I don't think that is something you can say, oh, well, he had autism, that's why he was killing people. No, there were a lot of things going on. He said he had multiple personalities. One of his personalities was of hundreds of years old or something, vampire named Victor. And Victor was this evil side who's the one that wanted to commit the murder, who showed no remorse for the murder, who plainly showed that he enjoyed the murder. Like, this is somebody that the legal system felt might do it again. And that is why he is behind bars for life. I do think it is a vastly different situation than Gypsy. I get people feeling bad for him and seeing how he was pulled into something, but if you really look into the past of this person, he is a dangerous person. Like, he even told Gypsy that if they had a daughter, he felt like it was his responsibility or his duty to take her virginity when she was 13. Like, This was a messed up, very scary individual. I think in this case, the justice system got it right. And I think they had a solid case against him because he said, although he would have done it differently, if given the opportunity, yes, he would have done it again. What else do you do with that? More comments. I will never understand why she is out. Why is she out when countless people who were tormented and abused as children are still in prison being held accountable for their crimes? She knew what she was doing and she did it. It's so tough because like they have a point. I do think, however, in Gypsy's case, this was like pretty extensive abuse that not many people can relate to at all. She already did her time. What she did was self-defense. I don't understand why she was in jail in the first place. I mean, there you go. There's opposite ends of this argument online. Like there are people who think that she shouldn't have gotten away with it or gotten off so easy. And then there are people who think that she should never have been in trouble to begin with. I would love to know, how do you guys feel? Everybody watching this, let me know in the comments. Like, where do you fall? Are you on the side of it was totally self-defense, I feel bad for her and she shouldn't have gotten in any trouble? Or are you more on the side of people who think that, this is sort of ridiculous that, she only got what she got. She should have the same prison sentence as Nick. And I mean, you don't have to be on an extreme side. You can tell me if you're somewhere in the middle. I think she suffered incredibly, but I think the worst thing she learned from her mom is needing to have constant attention. And I feel like the drama in her life will continue because she needs it. It's not like she's the one who did all this while she was in prison. Like, she's not responsible for the act. She's not responsible for all these documentaries that came out about her. Like, people are using her right now. People are making money off of her. And all that attention, all those things that happened while she was in prison have put a spotlight on her that she didn't ask for. She did not ask for it. Now it's sort of an opportunity in a sense that's been handed to her that she's taking, and she's really taking it. But that's up to her. Gypsy should not be put on a pedestal and treated like a celebrity. She gets off on the attention and she should not be allowed on any social media sites. She planned the murder and is not taking any responsibility. She has been very inappropriate on her social media accounts, bragging about her sex life, and she has brought attention to her minor relative asking people to hit him up. She is sick and very manipulative. So that's referring to her younger cousin. I believe she said, hey, he's single kind of a thing, which is dangerous because there is a certain type of person that might find someone like that and it could be bad. But then again, this is not a person. She's not social media trained, guys. This is not an influencer or a celebrity who's been doing it and worked their way up. She has been in prison basically her entire life until now. She has not had a normal social life, regular human interactions to learn what proper behavior is. She's not had any of that her entire life. She's literally been out truly free for a couple of weeks now. And people were all, yes, we stand you, we love you, queen. And that has just flipped so quickly to canceling her because she's not the perfect victim, right? These expectations are so unrealistic, it infuriates me. And this is where I get the most angry. It's that she's been through so much. Agree with her or don't agree with her on certain things that she said. Clearly I've voiced my concern and discomfort over some of the ways that she's behaved. But at the same time, she served her time that was given to her by the justice system, just or not. She's out. She is now gonna start trying to live her own life. But I'm telling you what, it's gonna take her a while to figure out what that life is gonna look like, because she's never had an opportunity for one before this. So she gets out of prison, right? She's posting all these things on social media. Some of them are kind of weird. I know that people were saying really mean things about her husband, saying that he looked like her mother, which when you really think about it is a really messed up comment to make. So she commented something about his D being fire, and now this is sort of turned into almost a meme. She's acting like a young girl. She hasn't had a chance to have friends or experience things in life, so she's posting weird things,
Can't bring me down. I'm on a high right now. I'm living my best life, and y'all can't take that from me.
And the D is
fire.
And people are really upset with her for this because apparently they think her entire existence now should be to talk about Munchausen by proxy. She can't be a normal person. She can't be a young girl. She can't ever be inappropriate. She can't ever make jokes or say anything or be carefree. Everything has to be serious all the time and a PSA for mental health. I don't agree with that. Clearly, the way I phrased it, I think you can get that I don't agree with that. Sure, some of the posts are weird. Sure, some of the comments she makes about her husband are strange. But again, stop asking for her to do everything perfectly. That's just not gonna happen right now, guys. It's unrealistic. So I think in response to everyone criticizing her, not talking about it enough, she posted this.
Hey everyone, this is Gypsy. So I know it's been a crazy last 2 weeks. I had a documentary, I had an ebook, and I had to promote those projects that I'm super proud of. But now things are starting to settle down in my regular, normal life.
People were mad because even though this is going to turn into her like talking about mental health and Munchausen's by proxy, they thought, well, she takes up the first few seconds or whatever talking about herself and promoting her own stuff. But like the stuff that she's promoting is about Munchausen's by proxy. Like, what do you want?
So I wanted to kind of bring things back to the point of why I'm on social media to begin with. So the whole point is to spread awareness about Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
While you can have a purpose for your, social presence and your voice or whatever, you can have a purpose. I don't think that needs to completely define who she is as a person for the rest of her life. Like, everything she posts doesn't have to be about this. Like, people were mad on her, like, get ready with me TikTok or whatever, where she was showing off her outfit. They're like, what are you doing? What she's doing? Girls post things like that, right? Girls post makeup tutorials. Girls post things like what? Not everything she posts has to be about her trauma. I think expecting that from someone is like really rude. It's like dance monkey, like she is not going to live the life that everyone wants her to live. She's going to live her own life. And in this way, it's sort of messed up, but I feel like she was controlled by her mother. She was in prison where she didn't have freedom. And now that she's free, people are commenting on all of her social posts, telling her what she can and can't do, what she can and can't say, telling her how to act, how to be, who to be. Don't you guys see what you're doing? It's messed up. Stop it.
So if you know my story, you're kind of familiar with a little bit about it. But what I want to share with you is the definition and symptoms to look for. So Munchausen syndrome by proxy, or Munchausen by proxy, is a psychological disorder marked by attention-seeking behavior by a caregiver through those who are in their care. Munchausen by proxy is a relatively rare behavioral disorder. It affects a primary caregiver, often the mother.
I even saw comments that were negative about this from people saying, oh, well, she's literally reading like a Wikipedia definition. Like, anybody following her case already knows this. Like, she should be giving something more insightful, and she's not even trying, and she's just reading. Like, I just feel like while there are certain things that she's done that are obviously wrong, and comments that she's made, like on that podcast, that I genuinely think are bad, it seems like outside of that, it doesn't matter what she does. She's going to be attacked. And it's like anybody that you see online. Once they gain a certain amount of success, right? People want to see you on the up and up, but then once you get to a certain level, they want to knock you right back down. It's fun, right? It's fun to see the crash and burn. Even somebody like her who's been through all this, like, let's build her up and yes, queen slay, and then let's cancel her because, well, she didn't say everything right. She's not acting the way that I want. She's not being the victim, the version of the right victim that I want her to be. So I'm going to cancel her. And I was going through a bunch of different videos of people commenting on this just so that I could go to the comments section and see what the reaction was. And it's just so split. It's so 50-50, people yes queening her or canceling her. I really haven't seen it strongly in one direction or another, which is very strange. Normally when there's any kind of drama online, most people take a certain side. And if you're like an outlier, you get attacked. But in this case, it really does feel pretty split. But I saw this comment on one of those videos and I really liked it. It sums up exactly how I feel. I used to stand this abuse victim, but not anymore. Is one of the weirdest things I've ever heard. And that's literally the narrative that I'm seeing from so many people. It's very, very strange behavior. I mean, this case is horrible, and I didn't even scratch the surface of a lot of things that happened. Like, I strongly suggest you guys watching some of these documentaries and stuff that have come out. There are also a lot of really informative videos on YouTube you can find. I did not do a comprehensive review in this video by any means. I just wanted to comment on the strange social reaction that I've seen happen to her over the past few weeks. It's just such a downhill roller coaster that happened so fast. And the sad thing is I sort of saw it happening. I saw when she got out of prison and everyone was like treating her like a celebrity. I thought it was weird. But in my mind, the little pessimist in me was like, just wait for it. Just wait for it. She's going to say one wrong thing and then all these people are going to turn on her. And the person who's already gone through so much in her life is about to get it from social media too. Isn't that wonderful? I hate that I was right. I hate that that's how my mind worked. And what sucks even worse is that my negative view of the world was just confirmed. I'm going to turn into a bitter old woman. Anyway, please let me know, like I said, what you guys think in the comments. Since this is such a split topic, I'm sure that I said something many times probably throughout this video that pissed somebody off. Let me know in the comments. This divide that I've seen online from people is very different than what I'm used to. So like this video if you liked it, share it, and I will see you guys in the next video. It's good to be back. All right. Bye.